Jaden, so what do you need for the Instagram? Do you want me to do it now?
Oh, but like that means you need to you need to keep this in the episode though.
I don't care. I'm doing it for you. Is this good enough?
Yeah.
What do you need? Yeah.
If you can do it a bit slower, so like it's not too blurry. So
yeah.
I have
My
multiple
motion
actions. Yeah.
But do you want me to pull a face or something?
No. I mean, if you want to smile.
A smile, okay.
If you want, I don't know. It's actually no, because it's a pretty serious movie, so we can't smile. No.
Yeah. I can look pissed off. I can act. You know.
Although your camera's kind of freezing up, but that won't show up in the video, will it?
I gave you a few options there.
And Liam, remember, you need to face dead on at some point.
Like, because my camera's kind of... How's it now? Like it?
I mean... Yeah, no... Yeah, I was kind of wondering a bit, but
you
I reckon I
barely kept it for long enough, but you probably just got something.
That setting is so awkward, you know?
Oh, I should do it too, actually.
Well done, everyone. All right. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 226th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by the amazing Spider-Man Defense Force, Jaden.
Yo.
I should have used the Hans Zimmer one this week, sorry. But, you know, heat of the moment. And, of course, PTA's number one fanboy, a.k.a. JC, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. Liam.
Hi. Hello.
Greetings. Not much. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Widows, which opened in the US on November 16th, 2018. It was directed by Steve McQueen, returning to the show. It's been a minute. Was Steve McQueen 12 Years a Slave? That was 2021, I think. It's been almost 4 years. What the hell?
Hunger was earlier?
That was 2020. Yeah, that was an early one for us. Yeah. So it's been a minute, but returning friend of the show here for sure. We've got a crime drama here as the genre, and the synopsis says, 4 women with nothing in common except a debt left behind by their dead husband's criminal activities take fate into their own hands and conspire to forge a future on their own terms. Indeed. All right. Jaden, you're a fellow first-time watcher of Steve McQueen's Widows. What did you think of it?
I was kind of like, I can't do that. Yeah, it was fine. Like I don't know. I'm not overly familiar. Like the only Steve McQueen that I'm familiar with is what we've done on the show. But like I think it's not really what I expected from him, I guess. And I think that was like the common kind of school of thought when it came out, wasn't it? Like people weren't expecting something so kind of direct. I think it's kind of got his contemplations of grief or like kind of struggle that the other ones have as well, but it's just it's a bit more buried, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was fine. Like I think it really is just it takes you for a ride on along its story, and like that's pretty much all I can get from it. And I feel like I don't know, like it's enough, but it wasn't to the levels of my previous experiences with him, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I do understand that. It sounds like I might have liked it a bit more than you, but I'm also a little bit confused about my feelings towards it because I don't know. I'm really glad Fitzy's seen it before because I feel like I need his perspective, like a rewatch perspective. It might help. But I will say for me, first time watching as well, there was certainly a lot of pieces to like. I could tell it was McQueen behind the camera. There were certain tells, and he's a master as far as I'm concerned. So the result is no doubt some exceptional filmmaking. But yeah, as a story, I don't know. I'm not as sure. There was a lot packed into it. There was a lot on that ride. I don't think I was the biggest fan of how the runtime was being used at times. Like it felt like the film was never quite focusing on some of the parts I wanted it to, or I felt had the more potential. It kind of looked away from certain things a bit too quickly, I think. My backpack just fell over. I don't know if people heard that. So yeah, I don't know. It didn't quite stick the landing as a wholly satisfying experience, I guess, for me. But yeah, a lot to like. Could have used. I feel like the solution honestly might have been like another 30 minutes or something. I feel like I needed more time for some of these plots to develop and some of these ideas to develop a bit more. But there were definitely cool scenes and stuff. But Fitzy, how many times have you seen Widows, and what do you think of it?
No, I think this is my first rewatch.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm around where you guys are. Like, I think it's very, mostly it's just like a very like clever film. Like the amount of like this cinematographic fucking tricks and like just like cool shots and cool choices, I guess, is like more or less what keeps me engaged. It is like a lot less thematic, I guess you'd say, than some of his other stuff and less intense. But also like there's definitely some stuff that you can like look into in terms of like the transactional relationships and shit like that. But
Yeah.
I think it works just as a kind of like as an action thriller, I guess. I think the tension builds pretty well, and I think you know the the kind of comparisons we get, the kind of juxtapositions we get between characters is very cool, I guess. Just the spectrum of people that we see, and yeah, I think the acting as well is just really great. Like technically, this film is awesome. So yeah, there's a lot to appreciate, but I do get what you guys mean in terms of like not getting that full, McQueen experience. But yeah, I think it's almost there, I guess.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. I think we understand each other. It was interesting seeing like the IMDb. Like I saw the discrepancy between the Metacritic and the audience score, and it didn't surprise me at all. Like it sort of made perfect sense to me in terms of like I totally understand why critics would like really dig this, because the critic side of me really likes it too. But then like sort of the more like I was saying, like the experience side of it was kind of a bit lacking for me. But yeah, I think it was you last week, Fizzy, that because I'd seen the poster for this film.
Yeah.
This poster feels deceptive, right? I just want to see if we
Well,
agree on
like
this.
I guess I misremembered it a bit because I forgot about like the whole opening thing with Neeson, but like putting him in the center is a bit when he's like supposed to just be in flashback scenes initially, it is a bit sus, like it gives away a bit too much, I think. But yeah, I don't know.
He is like the central, I guess, figure of the story in a
Yeah.
way.
Oh right, yeah.
Like even before the reveal and stuff.
Mm,
But
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
but yeah, even still, I don't know. But like as a poster, like the vibe of it to me gives off like, I don't know. It gives off something a bit different. I don't know, like some sort of like big ensemble piece. And there's a lot of, don't get me wrong, the cast in this movie is stupid, but like even still, I don't know. It didn't quite like convey like what the movie was like centrally about the four women kind of thing. To me, I don't know if you agree, Jaden. I just feel like I didn't. I was surprised by what this movie was in the end. I guess, even though I know it's called Widows, but
I don't think the poster sells you anything differently, to be honest.
okay, fair enough. No, it's
Are you talking
called
about the
Widows.
IMDb poster or the letterbox poster?
Just the one, where they got all their faces split, sort of.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
The cast is stupid though. I know, like recurring theme here. I come in and talk about how the cast is stacked, and we talk about the cast and stuff. But like this cast is like, I don't know. I feel like I would make the argument this cast is beyond stacked. Like this cast is really just unbelievable. To be honest, it is like probably top 5 casts that we've done, in my opinion. Just with the sheer amount of just the name value alone in this movie, and then some of them barely in it. John Bernthal. So, there was just, I don't know, I was just shocked every time. Like right away in that first 10 minutes, you just kept getting hit by people that are turning up in this movie. And then some of them you forget about for a while too. Like Carrie Coon's got barely any screen time. And like she's probably like 12th on the call sheet. But like she's notable to me, and I'm sure to a lot of people as well. So and then I don't know, she like disappears for half an hour, and that happens for a few people in the movie. Like you just sort of forget they're in it, and then they come back, and you're like, oh shit, there you are again. Yeah, I don't know. I guess this is a way to talk about that action-packed opening as well, where you sort of get introduced to everyone in the situation. Because I really liked the action, just being immersed in the back of the van, the way the camera just puts you right back in there with everyone, and the friggin' the goddamn driving and just seeing everything happening outside the back of it from their point of view was pretty exhilarating. And then I just really love the choice to then intercut that with their home life stuff, just general domestic arguments and shit like that. I don't know. I just thought it was, and interactions and stuff like that. I just thought it was a really striking choice, and that I was really engaged for the first 5 minutes. I don't know. You said you forgot about it, Fitzy, but it's probably one of the more memorable parts for me, at least on a first watch.
Yeah, no, it's a great scene. Yeah, I think I just like I was more focused on like the Liam Neeson side of it. Like him turning up later made me think that he wasn't like there as much previously. But yeah, that it is still like a great action scene. Yeah.
So were you like keeping an eye for like clues and shit that Liam Neeson wasn't dead? I feel like it sort of gave you none, to be honest. But maybe I didn't see them.
Yeah, I felt like there were a few there, but I wasn't looking for them. No.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha. I know there's a lot of people shine in this movie. By the way, I know I feel like Jaden. I'm not saying Fitzy doesn't like John Bernthal. I feel like Jaden's my John Bernthal guy. That's the vibe I've gotten, and I feel like why?
Wow,
like,
I'm really hurt by that. That's
sorry. I feel like why would
I quit, guys. I quit. Sorry.
It's okay. We have other actors we bond over. It's fine. But like, why was he in this movie? He's actually the one where like I don't think he did anything except did he do anything except talk to Elizabeth Debicki at the dinner table for like a 10-second scene.
Yeah, but it's just your chance to work with the director you like,
Oh, I'm not saying you should have said no. Sure, but it was just kind of like I feel like he contributed nothing to the movie, and that's not his fault. It's not anyone's fault, really. It's just kind of like it's just sort of a weird, like with a name as recognizable as him to kind of contribute nothing is kind of weird, in my opinion. Like even like people, there's plenty of people that with smaller parts in this movie that still contribute something to it. You know what I mean? But he just sort of contributed nothing, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. We could go. I don't even know where to start with the cast. To be honest, it's just everyone and their mums in this goddamn movie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really scared to talk about Robert Duvall in this movie, because I feel like he's gonna die in the next week if I like talk about him too much. Because this keeps happening to me. So, but I kind of got to at the same time. You know what I mean? Yeah, sorry. If it's not my fault if anything happens, I swear to God. This is all on recording. This is all on tape now. But him being in this movie, he was great. I really enjoyed it. It was great, him turning up. I kind of like, I don't know, I don't know if this is rude, but like he's so old that it's kind of like I had to like really stare at him to just make sure like that is him, right? Like I think so, But he also hasn't done much lately. So I was kind of like, is that really him? I thought he doesn't do movies.
Well, this is a 6-year-old movie as well.
That's true too.
Which is wild to me because I feel like it's 2 years ago.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, he's here. He's great too. Please, guys, just pick someone because like we can. I feel like we can. There's something to say about pretty much everyone. So, is there anyone that stood out?
Yes, with Brian Tyree Henry.
Oh, dude, yes, absolutely, yes.
Because he's been getting a bit of attention on Twitter recently as like people are like, oh, he's actually like pretty good, and like they all point to like. They point to his voice in Transformers 1, and then they point to Bullet Train. But I feel like people just haven't seen this. So I'm like, but like to be fair, I haven't seen this either, obviously, until this point. But like, he is fantastic in this. When you're talking about a fantastic performance from him, and people are like, oh, actually, he's always been pretty decent. He's had a decent performance in Bullet Train. Like this is where his actually decent performance is like this is fantastic from him. Like really, really stellar stuff.
Yeah.
Which I didn't expect because I think I've only really seen him in like comedic or like kind of action heavy stuff, which kind of Bullet Train and like in Godzilla and all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was great to see from him, and like it was a good performance. I was kind of enraptured by him from the start, and like I really kind of bought his character and his convictions and all that. So, yes.
I'm so glad you feel this way, Jaden, because I totally agree. And anyone who's getting turned on to Brian Tyree Henry through Transform, like, I'm not saying he's bad in that. I've got no idea, but he's probably great because he's always great. Like, what the fuck? Come on, guys.
Apparently, his Megatron apparently is really great.
That's. I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Is what I'm saying. It's like, how is that turning people on to Brian Tyree Henry? Dude, he's fantastic. He's always fantastic. This was a different shade of him though. For me this time, dude, he's fantastic in Atlanta. He's fantastic in so many things, but I've never seen him be this blanketly intimidating as he was, and in a very different way to his brother in the movie as well, which I liked. But because he has to. His whole thing throughout the film is like this guy running for is essentially mayor. I can't remember, a ward or whatever it is. But
is it even mayor? It feels like such an irrelevant job.
Yeah, I couldn't even figure out
because I swear that not even because it's not even like mayor of Chicago. It's like leader of the ward, which of like the fucking.
They keep saying the 18th ward, and they run this town, and I'm like, so wait, are you telling me there's at least 18 wards in Chicago? Like, how do you run what? I mean, I assume there must. I'll just take the movie's word for it that it's a powerful position. That's fine. But like, I didn't really understand.
It feels like the position that we just had to vote for in our local elections.
Yes, it really does. Which doesn't feel very influential. Doesn't feel like it would be as influential as this movie makes it seem. I guess, yeah. But yeah, so throughout, his whole thing is like, restraint. Keeping things because he's some kind of he's a gangster, I guess, right? I think so. So that's what he traditionally is, but he has to keep on the down low while he's running and stuff. So he's kind of, cautioning his brother and stuff throughout. So, and I think he plays that really well. And he's like that in most scenes. He's kind of the cooler head. But then when he goes to that scene where he goes to Viola Davis's apartment and like picks up her dog and stuff, I've never seen him be that intimidating. In his own way, which I really like, in a very different way, like I said, to Daniel Kaluuya, but still a really great performance as well. Dude, leave that, but he picked up the doggy. Leave the doggy alone, that was terrible. I didn't like that. So yeah, huge shout out to him for sure. I really liked him a lot. Man, I mean, I already brought up Daniel Kaluuya. Dude, he was unbelievable in this movie. Am I saying his name wrong?
Kaluuya, I think it's
Kaluuya.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying it right. Great. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. He was unbelievable in this movie as well. I thoroughly enjoyed his performance. It's not like a super layered performance, but like totally for what the character is, it was perfect, and it was just super entertaining. Had like multiple standout scenes in the movie. Anytime he came in and did something, it was all eyes on him. You know what I mean? And I've never seen him do something like that either.
Yeah. I was surprised to see him in this film actually, because like. I just thought after Get Out, he was like, I don't know. I don't think I really like knew what he did after Get Out. I thought he like had like a bit of a step back. Not intentional. I guess he had like that small role in Black Panther, but I think that's what I thought his 2018 was. I didn't realize he had this as well.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either, and he was so good. Oh my God, dude, that whole beatboxing scene was so good. It was so good. I loved it, and that's like anytime. Like that's why this film has so many strong scenes, and I'm sure we'll get into the larger narrative a bit later. But like talking about some of these scenes for a second, like that one was so strong. The one where he goes and stabs the dude at the bowling alley was super strong naturally, and he has a really strong scene. Like his death scene's really strong too. So shout out to him. He was great. Fitzy, I don't know if you have anything to say about those guys, but you're also more than welcome to choose our next person on the roulette. The stars and winners.
No, yeah, they're both pretty great. Yeah, I like how Daniel just like the kind of, the pure kind of intimidating force in the film, and the film doesn't really try to do much with him. But yeah, he's learning Spanish, I guess. So that was an interesting minor detail. Gangsters still use Duolingo, I guess. But yeah, Brian Tyree Henry, his scenes were awesome, and I don't know his interactions with Farrell. What's Colin Farrell's character? Manning and Mulligan, right? I mean, I like with what you said earlier, with like just the film being about the four women. Like I slightly disagree because I think the film balances the political side, the election, and the heist side really well. And that's where I think the film is kind of equal in its in its ensemble cast. But like I really love the scenes with the Mannings just because I don't know. I think it's probably some of the more interesting parts of the film, just in terms of like talking about transactions and race and that kind of thing, which the film is kind of, if anything, the film is like about race, I guess. So, um, I think those scenes are really fantastic, and yeah, the dynamic between the brothers is kind of, it's kind of funny in a way, just how different they are, but
Oh yeah, yeah,
they're both very aware people of like of what they are and what's going on and stuff. So um, yeah, I just, everything with those two are like really great. It's really great.
Do you think this film's about race? Like to an extent, I'd say yes, but like compared to the other McQueen stuff I've seen, which is just Hunger and Years, I mean, like, not really. I mean, like, yes, but like at the same time, like, would you say that like that's what the film is really about?
Like yeah, like I don't know how you couldn't see that. Like it's pretty like prevalent throughout the whole thing.
No, like it is,
like,
but like, is that what the film's really about, though?
I think it's more about transactions than it is about race. But I think race is definitely like this, at least a secondary kind of, investigative like point to the film, I guess.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
If
There's a bit of nepotism in there.
But it's really only through like the electoral stuff that you see that side. Like you get a bit of it with
No, I mean
the backstory with Viola Davis's kid.
Yeah, but you see it through her character as well. Like, what does Manning say to her? He says like, "Welcome back," after everything's been taken away from her, basically after her husband dies, and he says he's going to basically take all the money back. It's like, welcome back to like to life in our like circumstances or whatever, because she's living outside of the ward, right? And that's another choice as well. And to focus also like at the babysitter subplot as well.
Sure, yeah.
Like the way that interacts with that stuff is like really obvious as well. Like how she's like running around and like working all these jobs and stuff, and how she comes across the driver position.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think it's like definitely a massive theme of the film.
Yeah,
I don't know what to make of it exactly, but I just think it's very prevalent.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so all of the widows, what they have in common is that they're struggling for money in their own ways. I guess I'm just thinking out loud here, trying to with the race part. Elizabeth Debicki is the only white widow, right? Like, I guess her, and then thinking about how her situation differs from the others. Her story is sort of more, with that other dude, what's his face, David, that she's like dating and stuff, and then he's sort of, I mean, she states sort of pretty clearly what that's about at the end. I think in their last interaction, in terms of having her own life to herself, and not everything being a transaction for her as well, in terms of him just paying her, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, that was me spitballing. Is there something there that's different to the others? I guess because it's a very different dynamic that it focuses on compared to the others, I guess.
Yeah, I think like mainly what it is everyone's trying to escape the position that has been handed to them, like partly by society, right? Like Brian Tyree Henry, like what is he trying to do? It's the same thing as Michael Corleone, or like whatever we talked about a week or two ago. It's like he's trying to legitimize himself because he's a gangster. He's been put in that kind of business because of like where he grew up and his race, right? And all the women have the same thing, right? And it's like they basically say that they can pull this off because people won't expect them to. So like appearance, perception, all that is part. Like Colin Farrell as well, like Mulligan, like he doesn't want to do the same thing that his father did. So like everyone's trying to escape their position that they have, that's been kind of placed on them partly by societal factors, like gender and race, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So like the
Yeah.
film is very intentional about its like social elements, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true. I love the way you put that. Yeah. Yeah. Even in terms of, so in terms of Alice, it's like her mum, she's just lost her husband and her, any means of income, and her mum then, is there pushing her to basically sell herself, in a way. And it's like, I don't necessarily think
Jackie
it
Weaver,
sort of
by the
makes
way.
sense.
Oh
Jackie
yeah,
Weaver, by the
her
way,
showing up. I totally forgot that was Jackie Weaver.
was her accent distracting?
Not
At
really.
first, it was a little bit distracting. Yeah.
I find every
I got
time
used
she
to
does
that.
an American accent a bit distracting at first. Yeah.
But she was
It's
like
kind
a
of like,
Polish, like American, so it's like.
sure, I guess. That we like us Aussies, because they're both Aussie, or us Aussies like closer to the poles in some way, like when we're trying to do an American accent. I don't know. I don't know. I find it kind of jarring every time that she opens her mouth and she doesn't like sound Aussie. Anyway, yeah. So then I was just saying, with her pushing her daughter to go and sell herself to make money, I guess that is, a standard. It makes sense. I feel like that is something that society would do in that situation for for someone like her. And then it's sort of the same sort of applies, like you're saying, to the others, depending on their own situations and who they are. So yeah, it's very interesting. I very much like that. Jumping right to the end, but I feel like this is relevant to what we're saying right now. The actual final scene of Alice and Veronica at the end there.
Mm.
Is that smile is like her escape from Veronica? I'm saying,
Well,
the final shot.
I kind of find the final shot like kind of cringe. I don't know, but like I do. The intention there is good, I guess, because I think like the film is filled with all these like these transactions and everyone kind of vying for money and power and escape, right? And I think like that scene is like one of the 2 or 3 moments we get where it's just like a normal, where the interaction is just based on kind of like normal shit or like care or whatever, something less like selfish, I guess. The other one we see is like I don't know, he doesn't really concede it, but like Mulligan talks to Manning about does he offer the election? I don't know. He kind of suggests that he might do that.
Yeah.
Because that's him kind of finally giving into his like his benevolent kind of side, I guess. But yeah, like I think ending on that is it's kind of like the film's been filled with all this kind of ugliness and fighting, and that's kind of the a moment where they can kind of get over everything, but the execution is a little like average, I think. But the intention is there, I guess.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. It kind of threw me off a little bit too. I mean, the idea, like you're saying, and I presume it's just because like Veronica hasn't smiled the whole movie, so like it's meant to be sort of this moment of catharsis in some way. But yeah, I kind of don't disagree. It feels like it was. I don't know if I feel bad. Like I can't shit on Viola Davis.
I think
it just felt a bit much. It felt a bit much.
Yeah, she's just not a natural smiler,
That is what I was thinking. Where it's like, is Viola Davis ever done a comedy, like a straight up comedy? Because I feel like I'd want to see that.
Suicide
And she probably has.
Liam said Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
sorry, I missed that. Yeah, that's good. But you know what I mean? I feel like she's great at playing like the totally serious character in everything. You know what I mean?
I'm typing here, so I'm just.
Well done, Fitzy. Well done.
I'm trying
well
not
done.
to,
Yeah. You just hands down, mouth shut, hands up, mouth open. After a 3-decade career playing more than 75 mostly supporting roles, this film marks Viola Davis's first lead role in a major studio film, which surprised me. Wow. But if you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, I guess so. Now, I want the next one. I don't know if she's done one since, but the next one needs to be her leading a rom-com or something. or just a straight up comedy in some way. Road trip comedy with Viola Davis. I want to see that.
Yeah, challenge her
Or-
range a little bit.
100%. Well, that's the thing. Like, or would it shatter everyone's perception of Viola Davis because everyone realizes that she can't do that? Like, would it expose her maybe?
Potentially.
No, I'm sure she can do it. I'm sure she'd be great at it. I want to see it though. Who else can we pick on here? I think I got some trivia here. I already talked about Elizabeth Debicki a little bit, so I'll just say that I don't know if you guys know the story about her being cast in Tenet. This is kind of it's related to this film though. So Christopher Nolan was looking for people to cast in Tenet, naturally, and he told Variety that Debicki was so convincing in Steve McQueen's Widows as an American that he took her off the list of contenders for the Tenet role. Because he wanted a British guy. British woman. Apologies. And then Emma Thomas came in and was like, "No, she's British. Oh, she's
yeah.
Australian or whatever."
I've heard this story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you tell it
totally,
during Tenet?
I don't think so.
Oh,
Did I?
Wow.
Oh shit!
Maybe,
I might have.
maybe you've said it on the show before.
God, that's.
By the way,
bad.
isn't it Debicki? Like, it's Debicki, right?
Oh, yeah, it is. I'm saying Debicki. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
my bad. Thank you for correcting me. Yeah, my bad. Anyway, I butchered that whole story, but you get the gist. Nolan didn't realize that she wasn't American. Realized that, oh shit, that led to her getting cast in Tenet. So that's great. And she was really good in this as well. I think this is one of her first big films. I know she did The Night Manager, I think the same year or around the same time.
Night Manager was 2016, I think.
Oh, it was earlier. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. So, and I know she'd done some theatre and stuff beforehand. So,
I think Kettering Incident would have been. No, maybe that was earlier as well.
is that a film?
No, it's an Australian product. It's the
Gotcha.
TV show based in Tasmania.
Oh, okay.
Which
I'm
is
sure
huge, you know.
I was going to say, I'm sure everyone's heard of that. So I think this is very much her on the rise, and she's still on the rise. I feel like, you know, she just won that Emmy for Princess Diana.
Who's tall? Her or Liam Neeson?
Oh yeah, dude.
Who's taller? I reckon they're like the same, you know.
No, Liam Neeson's got to be taller, surely. She's
I don't
very
know,
tall.
man. Yeah.
No,
I never thought of Liam Neeson. Is he meant to be tall?
Yeah. He's a tall dude.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, he's like he is actually very tall. Yeah, isn't he like 2 meters?
Yeah. He's like, yeah, isn't he like 6'6" or something, or 6'7"?
Really?
He's really tall. He's
Oh,
really
yeah,
tall.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
Jeez.
sounds
Yeah.
right.
I could I don't want to throw shit out there, but I'm pretty sure he's very tall. But yeah, no, she's very tall too, 100%. Michelle Rodriguez, Jaden.
Yeah, I think every time I see her in a film, I'm like, oh, she like. I get excited and I'm like, oh, I actually like you more than I think because like she just pops up everywhere. She's always solid, you know. She's always does what she needs to, I guess. Like obviously, Fast and Furious being her mainstay, but then like, you know, I love like she's pretty good like in the Resident Evil films and you know, in whatever else she appears in. I'm always happy to see her, to be honest. Which is not a point I thought I'd get to with her, given that like my perception of her initially was just like Fast and Furious.
Yes.
And I guess Avatar as well, of course. And like she does kind of like play like the kind of action role, but I mean like, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, she's just you know, she does action and she's good at it.
That's right. Yeah. Well, this is the most like grounded drama film I've seen her in. I think it's got to be.
I think so for me too. Yeah.
She delivered in that part for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, she was really good. That whole scene, I don't know what we make of that scene where she went and like broke down with that guy and started kissing him. That was pretty intense.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think that was just for her to get out of it, wasn't it? Oh,
really? You just read it that way?
Like yeah, it was like because like she put herself in like a sticky situation, but like
oh yeah, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But like, you didn't think there was a genuine emotional release there of some sort?
I genuinely thought that was all just her putting on an act, like trying to
yeah,
Interesting.
I did too. Yeah.
Really? Oh, okay. Oh no, I thought no, she definitely got cornered, and then I thought like then it was one of those things where she sort of just had to start spilling the truth because she didn't tell any lies after that, you know, and then it all was just a natural breakdown from there. I thought it was more of an exploration of like, you know, grief of people in two similar situations kind of thing.
I think they both use their grief to like, for their own purposes, I guess. Yeah, she uses it to like get out of the awkward situation, and he uses it to like to kiss her, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot darker than I sort of, well, from his point of view anyway. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that
Okay.
guy was terrible. Yeah.
Really? Shit. See, I didn't view it that way at all. That's very interesting. So, okay. I thought you were going to say
I
like
mean,
he used it because didn't he quit his job or something?
oh,
I don't
That
think
doesn't
he
make
did it, did he?
that doesn't make any sense.
I don't
Yeah.
know about that.
Don't worry
Because
about that.
his
Don't worry about
wife was the one that was like working as a architect or designer or something. Or I don't know.
Mm.
that. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess I did kind of look at that scene kind of cynically, I guess.
Mm.
But I think that's kind of what that scene is. But it is like an interesting scene to put in the middle of the film, I guess.
Yeah,
It just
for
kind of
sure.
comes from nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know if it builds if it's an idea that's built upon later or something. But yeah, it was a
I
very
think.
interesting scene in its own right. But yeah,
Oh no, I think it's built up. Like I think it's just like the whole transactional kind of theme of the film, I guess.
right. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Just like seeing transactions in that context, where you don't expect it is, you know,
Yeah, and a very
uh,
raw. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't like how you made me see this scene now. It's making me be yuck.
Oh, sorry, right.
Cool. Are we missing anyone?
I mean, Liam Neeson is Colin Farrell. I mean, Colin Farrell is awesome. I think
Yeah.
in this film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How did you feel about his Chicago accent? I feel like I don't know if the Chicago accent's already kind of close to Irish, but there were a couple of times I'm like, is that?
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't. I don't know the accents well enough to like say it's bad or anything. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying like I feel like this sounds kind of close to Irish in some way.
Oh, I think it slipped through like a few times, but I think like it was mostly pretty great. I mean, his name's Mulligan anyway, right? Which is like an Irish name, so maybe you can argue something there. But no, I think his accent's pretty good. Mostly, yeah. Definitely heard the Irish a few times, but not too often.
I'm glad you did as well. Yeah, he was great, and Liam Neeson, another fellow Irishman. That is kind of. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I get it, but like it is. This is like the least British film ever, in my opinion. In terms of like its subject
it's
matter,
very
how
American,
it's
yeah.
tone, and the racial context. And I'm not saying just the way it's all handled feels very American. I agree, and so it's kind of weird. Like half the cast, like I'm not saying I would have cast anyone differently, but it's just kind of like as a viewer who's fans of all these actors, it's kind of like I don't know. It kind of takes me out a little bit being conscious that they're all doing accents sometimes. Like when it's just one or two, it's okay, but it's like so many of them.
Oh yeah, no, I guess you're right. Yeah, everyone's doing an accent. Yeah, but like you are right. Like it is like a very American film. Like the capitalist like themes as well. Like everything is based around money in this film, and like the corruption in politics and all that, and like just Chicago in general. Like I mean, you could pick any American city, I guess, but Chicago feels like like deep within, deeply American, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Even over like I don't know, if over LA or something else. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, because that's more like everyone comes to LA from all over the world, kind of. But like Chicago is just like, people don't really move to Chicago who aren't in the US.
Right. And people don't really. I'm sure it's not really a tourist hotspot. I don't imagine. I'm sure people go there. I'd love to go there. You know what I mean? But compared to these other cities, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But like, yeah, just like Liam Neeson, I think is really awesome in this film. I mean, he's sparsely used, but I think,
yeah,
like especially his kind of for some of the film, he's kind of pensive and you don't really know what he's thinking. And I think his kind of breakout scene is delivered like pretty perfectly with that confrontation with Viola. But like he just seems like such a cold person as well. I think that's communicated pretty well. So yeah, I think he's pretty awesome in this.
I don't disagree, but their whole thing probably worked the least for me in the movie. Like the whole, just their relationship and the twist, and basically everything surrounding them personally, their relationship and the story around it. I don't know. It's kind of odd to me. The whole thing felt a little bit undercooked to me. I feel like this needed more time. So I don't know. There's a few things to unpack, I guess. But let's just talk about the reveal that he's alive. Felt like it just was placed in a really interesting point in the story. It kind of came out of nowhere. And like also kind of felt like then the character sort of forgot, like it then didn't impact anything for like another half an hour after we learnt it, kind of thing. It was kind of like just let's drop this fact at a random point in the movie, and then you're aware of it, and then the movie just continues on without acknowledging it again, and then obviously it's going to come back. But I don't know, it just kind of it felt a bit odd to me, and the whole way they reveal it was a bit odd. And maybe there's clues I'm missing. I had to rewind the scene where it was revealed he was alive because like I thought I was tripping, and like when Carrie Coon opens the door and Liam Neeson sitting there, I'm like hang on. I literally thought for a second, I'm like, wait, I didn't realize this scene was a flashback. I'm gonna have to rewind it, and then I realized it wasn't. So like Viola Davis knew that he was alive, like right when the dog was scratching on the door.
Yeah, but she saw the flask or whatever it is. I think it's a flask. She saw his flask on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the dog as well.
But like, so that the clue earlier sort of was that the dog sort of reacts to his smell because that happened when they went into the lair for the first time. I
think the bigger clue is the flask though, because I think that's shown in the flashback.
But wouldn't that,
and then it's shown later as well.
Yeah, but that, okay, so that would reveal that like Carrie Coon has a relationship with him. I get that, and Viola Davis is aware of that later, which makes sense. But like, I don't know, is that a confirmation he's alive to her? I felt like, I don't know.
When you pair that with the dog, I think.
You reckon? Like, it's not, but I don't know. Couldn't it have just been like, oh shit, he was here, and then you have to talk to her about it? Like, why was my husband here before he died, kind of thing?
But the dog, bro, I don't know.
Okay. It sounds like it's just a me thing.
No, I thought it was weird.
You thought it was weird too?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's definitely weird, but like the signs are there, you know, like the signs point towards one thing.
The signs point to my husband that died in a terrible, terrible accident is alive and hiding in this one random woman who I happen to stumble across not happen to stumble across, but you know.
Yeah. But
like this one widow's fucking, you know, apartment, like at that exact time. Like I mean,
I said it's weird, but like the signs are there, you know.
What signs? I mean, like everyone can have that fucking flask, and like the dogs go spastic all the time for no reason. I mean, like,
but it's a fucking movie, bro. Like, what do you mean?
I think it's a stupid way to it's a stupid way to make a reveal that big. I think.
I don't entirely agree with Jen. I think it needs to be a confirmation that they had an affair. I think that's cool. The confirmation that he's alive is a stretch to me. So she needs to open the door to get that confirmation and see him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like it should have been cooler, the reveal that he was alive, you know? It was kind of just like, oh, this is interesting. Anyway, and then you combine that for me with probably the aspect, the whole thing with their son just didn't work. I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't really care. The film didn't really make me care about it. I don't know. The whole situation in which he died was so... I get. I appreciate seeing it through the racism lens, but like, it just felt like such a stupid situation. Like, why did he go back for the phone, dude? Like, you get pulled up by the cops. I don't know. It just look. I've seen so many versions of that kind of scene where like the police are obviously terrible, and in movies and stuff, and like in every other version of that scene I've seen, it's like blatant. And this one, it was kind of like, I don't know. They were kind of both a bit stupid. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know. I don't know if that's controversial. But just the way it was done and everything, the way the scene played out, it was kind of like, didn't leave me with like a ton of sympathy. I feel like I needed to care more at the end of it. I was kind of like, eh. And then, okay, even if I did care more about that aspect, it didn't really hit for me at the end either, like the whole final confrontation with them.
And that being the catalyst for the whole thing.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, it feels like it was really important, and it just kind of didn't work for me in the first instance. And then, yeah, I don't know. Do you feel free to agree or disagree with me on this?
I think the scene itself was fine, but I think I don't think it's great that the whole like kind of I don't love it being like the driving factor for Neeson's choice and therefore like the whole kind of fucking film.
Right.
It does feel
Right.
kind of weak on that side of it.
Yeah. And as a result, I think that's what I needed. Like, I needed something. I needed that to be developed more. I needed to care about that more. So then, when we get to the end, and and Harry's back at base, and the whole scene just felt a bit rushed to me as a result. Like the whole Veronica shooting him. I don't know. Like these guys. I don't know. It just feels like it should have been bigger. Like you thought he was dead. He lied to you. He deceived you. He cheated on you. All this kind of stuff. And I know that they do that a little bit, but it's just kind of not enough. I don't know. The scene she kind of shoots him pretty quickly. I feel like it should have been like really strong. But I know, Fitzy, you said you thought it was a strong scene earlier, so you obviously I think you disagree.
Wait, what? Which is a strong scene? Sorry. Oh,
The
the
final
shooting scene.
Yeah, confrontation and him getting shot.
Wait. Okay. Well, first of all, like, just on the other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I do kind of like agree. Like, it is a bit weak. I mean, the scene, the flashback scene itself, where the son dies, is kind of, it's a bit basic, I guess. I mean, I think it's like, I think when he gets shot, it's kind of it's very brutal and kind of sudden. So I think that element of it was like all right, but like yeah, just the dynamics of the scene was like quite obvious, as you said. And but like I don't know how much more I would have liked the film if it would have focused more on like the grief or like how characters reacted or whatever. Like I think just as it is, you can kind of extrapolate that, and there's already enough like scenes of like people being sad and grieving and shit. Like it does feel like there should be something extra, but like I don't know exactly what. But I think I'm fine with like leaving that as it is. But like no, like yeah, the shooting scene. I mean, he was about to shoot her. You know, like I don't think it was too early or anything. I think like she kind of. I think it was like the perfect moment. I guess or it was like almost too late. You know, I would have like shot him straight away. You know, but
yeah. Oh yeah. True. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, yeah, I think. I mean, the other thing about that scene that's slightly weak is like it's a bit like cliche, I guess, the trope of like when you think one person shot the other, but then it's like no, the other person shot the other person. But I think it's still a strong scene. Yeah, I don't mind it that much, but you know, it's still there.
Yeah, you're totally right about that. Yeah, I guess maybe no, that's a fair point. I guess maybe in that sense, it is more the build up to the scene and like the relationship getting there because like what you were saying, like when you said like Liam Neeson was going to shoot her, so like of course she'd shoot that's totally fair. I guess I'm kind of surprised he was going to shoot her, to be honest. Like it makes sense, but like I don't know, it feels like it should have been building to this point of like, oh, what this fucking bastard, like he's gonna kill his wife, and I don't know, it just kind of he was sort of. I needed more. I feel like he just needed to be in the movie more. They needed to delve into like how he felt more and why he did what he did more. Like it sort of just felt like there was a twist he was alive, and then they had that scene, and it kind of wasn't enough for me.
I think the fact that Viola Davis is only flashbacks of him, apart from one instance, they're all positive flashbacks of him. There's never an inkling that the relationship will go bad until we get that flashback of the son dying, and then we get an argument. But then, like, it's one argument. It's about one thing.
Yeah, and that's totally a natural thing that would happen.
And then it ends up spinning into a larger thing where like she blames him for his life, and it's like, well, I just didn't like the way it all kind of built the relationship out from what we initially thought, and I thought it was all kind of scrambling for something that wasn't there.
Yeah, I agree. I think part of this is going to be in this trivia that according to Steve McQueen, the first cut of this film was closer to 3 hours long and the final cut's only 2 hours 9 minutes. I mean, I totally trust that Steve made the better film. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. It's not like I necessarily am saying the 3-hour version would have been better, but just from what I've seen, well, from what we got, I kind of feel like this did need more time.
I don't
so-
think I was fucking struggling with 2 hours and 10. I definitely want it for longer.
Well, then how they use the time or what, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I feel like there's possibly some scenes in there that could have helped, but who knows? That's obviously total speculation.
I like it. I don't know. I think his feelings don't really matter. It plays into something that I can't pinpoint in the film, but I think his coldness, his motivations, I like it as it is, and I can't really explain why.
Yeah.
I don't know, because he's trying to escape his thing too, right? That's all you really need to understand. Is that he's trying to escape because he said he can't make the relationship work, and he couldn't save him, he couldn't save the relationship, and that I feel like that's all you need to know. Like, he is in the same kind of position as everyone else, and the whole reason that I think the Liam Neeson scene works so well, where he spills that, is that for the entirety of the film, he's just this character in the background. He's this cold character that you kind of don't understand anything of, and then in that moment you understand that you see the relationship between him and everyone else in the film. You see that he is exactly the same as everyone else in a way. So I think it would just kind of be shit if we saw more of him and it was more of just like a normal movie character, because I think it would downplay that moment.
What if we saw him being more cold and more of an asshole, though?
I mean, he killed his whole team. Do you really need to see like more than that? Like,
yeah. Even I'm not gonna lie. Even that, like, again, understand he did that. Got it. It didn't feel like that big of a deal. Maybe because I needed to connect with the. I don't know. Maybe I needed to connect with the team more. You know what I mean? It just kind of.
yeah.
So did he have to kill the whole
Didn't
team?
have a lot of
One of the
impact.
team was Carrie Coon's husband. Is that what it was?
Oh, well, he wanted to make it seem legit, right? That the money was like burned and everyone died in the team.
Sure.
I guess.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did it so he could get out with the money himself. You know,
Okay.
But like the fact that
sacrificed everyone.
Yeah, but I like the fact that I don't feel anything as well when I kind of see that scene, right? Because like we're not really like we get the initial action scene with the guys at the start, but we don't really see anything else of them. So it's not like we care for them that much, right? But I mean, hearing them kind of like, like scream in the back of the van, like, "What are you doing?" and a piece of shit, get us out, and all that shit. I think that was enough for me.
Okay.
But like, I don't know. Like, I like that we don't get much. We don't even feel like Neeson is that much of a badass in that scene or anything. He just kind of does it, and it just kind of happens. So we don't understand anything of him until that final scene.
Yeah. Maybe it is just as simple as I needed more Liam Neeson on screen, and I needed less of him and doing more things other than just kissing his wife's hand. Because it was kind of that, or like everything, or it was like only super important plot central stuff, or like the basic facts of him doing these things, or like him making out with Viola Davis, and that's kind of all we got. Anyhow, stiff shit. Fitzy, does this feel like a Steve McQueen film to you?
Well, I think I said earlier that it's like it's less intense, I guess, than shame and hunger and 12 years. But I still think like with how we haven't even talked about like the clever kind of shit that this film does, like the the one take scene where we go from one neighborhood to another, and it's just like all we hear is like Mulligan ranting, and like we see the neighborhood kind of transform. I mean that's awesome, and then also the way it like plays with flashbacks. Like I think there's a scene earlier where Viola is like looking, she's looking out the window, and you think it's like current time, but then you see Liam Neeson turn up in the background, turn up. So
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's like
it does
it's
play with that.
it's constantly kind of clever, and I think there is enough there, like thematically, but it's just not quite as strong as other products of his. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you think the lack of the reason it doesn't feel as intense as these other previous three films is that like it's not solely it's not as focused on like one character? So I feel like you're very immersed in like a protagonist's point of view in those films for the most part. Oh, Hunger. That even not that less so a character in that one is like a very specific time and place. You know what I mean? This one's a bit more, I guess, sprawling, so it feels a bit less. Um, like if it was like I don't know if it was less of an ensemble and like and I know Viola Davis is the main character, but like if it was sort of
mm,
really focused on her, I feel like it could bring that back. You know, I feel like it was more just a consequence of having more characters in the story, being a larger story kind of thing.
yeah. Well, like focusing on the similarities between all the characters and the kind of ensemble, I think is like a big part of the film, I guess.
Yeah.
So and like it being a genre film as well, obviously, like I it probably like it probably dilutes something like perception wise, I guess.
Yeah, I think
Um,
yeah, I agree.
yeah, even though there's not like nothing because there's not really that much action in the film.
No.
But there is kind of a rising tension, and there is like there's the kind of the heist planning section of the film as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, that probably dilutes it a bit, like perception wise, but also like a little bit just in general. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Those things do shift the perception, but this still very much felt like a McQueen film to me.
Mm.
If I didn't know he directed it, I feel like I could tell you. And like the one take you're talking about with the car ride, like felt very McQueen to me. It's probably the least. I didn't dislike it. I thought it was very. I mean, I'm a sucker for cool shots like that. I thought it was really cool, but it kind of felt like the least impactful of like long takes stuff I've seen him do. You know, it sort of felt like a little. This sounds a bit cynical, but it leaned more on the side of like, oh, of course, this is a Steve McQueen film, so he had to do something like this, as opposed to like it really adding a lot to me.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
Do you like it,
Um.
Jaden?
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. I just thought it was weird that didn't cut into the car for the conversation. So like, um,
Immersed you in the neighborhood instead.
yeah, but like, I think it goes back to that. I can't remember which cinematographer it was. I think it was a Spanish guy that worked with. I think it was one of the Spanish guys. But he was like, people these days don't appreciate the cut. You know, they're all hung up on the whole one take thing and how that's impressive. But he's like, there's an art to the cut as well, and I think that's a situation where, like, yeah, like you're right. There was absolutely like no benefit other than like being like McQueen kind of showing off a bit. Like, there's no reason to not show Farrell and is the other person in the car with him in that thing, because you can show the neighborhood from inside the car. You can cut from inside and outside the car. It just kind of felt more awkward than it did cool to me.
Yeah, like the specific nature of not being able to see them at all, even sort of through the window or anything like.
Yeah, it's just like it's just McQueen getting lost at the source a bit, you know.
Right.
What? No, I disagree.
You took issue with that, well.
Yeah.
I can rub in your face.
Bro, like like there's plenty of cool cuts in this film. Okay, like I think it's not there just to pay attention to it. So I think it does serve a purpose, and I don't see why you need to see Colin Farrell and his assistant in the car. I don't think that
I don't
adds
think you
anything.
need to see him, but I think the way that shot's structured is just awkward in what it is
Why is it awkward?
because of its focus. Because I just think it's awkward from like the fact you're fixed on like it's like a fixed vantage point of the car as it travels, and like you have what feels like an irrelevant conversation. Like there is just like, I mean, irrelevant, relevant, whatever you want. You can fucking argue whatever way you want, but like it just doesn't feel like it's constructed with the right intent.
But it's the conversation. I think it's relevant whether or not the conversation is relevant because he's talking about change, and you have a one take shot where you're going from one neighborhood to the other, from a poor neighborhood to an affluent neighborhood. Like it's very the relevancy is very relevant, man. Like I don't know, but yeah, like I don't know why you would want to show anything else in that scene. I think it conveys everything it wants to convey. You know, it's not there as some one perfect shot kind of thing. You know, and it is the only kind of big thing. Like, if you want to say that it is that kind of thing, you know, there's plenty of normal directing shit elsewhere in the film. So it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't think you can
no,
fault
100%.
it like that. But
No, I can't fault it like that.
Whoa.
you can try. Yeah.
I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't entirely disagree with Jaden in that. Like, even the choice to sort of have the camera slowly pan across the vehicle throughout, it was kind of odd. I don't know. Like, it took me. I thought it was really cool. I understood it. I'm a nerd for this kind of shit. I really am. It just kind of, I think the best ways when they're done immerse me more in the film, and it kind of distracted me a little bit. But in a way, it took me out of it. But like, in a way, but I still thought it was really cool. You know what I mean? Yeah, it didn't. I wanted to immerse me more in the film, I guess. And when I've seen McQueen do it before, he really does. Like, dude, that one in Shame with Fassbender running, that is phenomenal. Like that, talk about immersing me in that character, in that world. That sort of, in a comparison to that, it didn't quite achieve the same thing for me.
Okay, so but you didn't quote a Spanish cinematographer, so I don't really believe in your argument as much. You know?
So you say you agree with? Yeah, right. That's fair. Jaden, did you know this was a Hans Zimmer score going in?
I think I did. I think he posted about it a fair bit on his Twitter back in the day, on his Instagram. Back in the day.
Yeah. Nothing to say about it?
No.
Okay.
It's really, I was like half paying attention. Like, not half paying. Like, I was maybe like 75% paying attention to the film.
Oh no.
I just kind of like it was so on the rails that I just didn't really care about it in terms of like the story. Like, it just felt like it just kept them pushing on, like, in a non-interesting way. It was like this happened, and then it was and then, you know. And I was like, yeah okay.
How does it? I feel like we were all like in similar. We had our little distinctions, but we were like in similar territory at the start. And I feel like as this is going on, we're like being stretched out.
I think my score is still going to be like your score. I just feel like
sounds like it should be.
I just feel like my argument is just a bit different.
Sure. Well, you already said you hated Steve McQueen's one shot, so. What was I? Wait, what did I ask? Oh, Zimmer's score. Sorry, yes. So we actually haven't really talked about like the final actual sort of job heist scene on the mansion. And I thought the score there was really, really strong. I didn't really notice it at all before that. I think it was used pretty sparingly anyway, as far as I can recall. But I thought it was really strong. Like that moment, you know, when they flip the like they realize the code was upside down, they flip it and they put the code in correctly. Like the music ramps up right there. And from then on, then sort of to the end of the car accident, it was pretty sweet. I liked it a lot. So I enjoyed that. But outside of that, I didn't notice it as much. No disagreements from Fitzy. Very good. Like that's what I like to see.
No, I mean, I want to disagree. Like, I'm in a disagreeing mood, you know.
Sure. Did you like the actual whole job scene? Because I call it the job scene because they kept calling it the job. You know, I don't know. It's probably the heist, whatever. Their distorted voices were really cool. I like how they had that going on.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's good because it doesn't feel too intense or out of place. It feels very like clumsy, I guess, and just real. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's right. It felt very for the what we saw them prep for. It felt appropriate for sure. Do we know this was based on a TV show?
No, but I did see that the writer had. I'm not sure if it was the same thing, but the original writer had like another adaptation that like sounded kind of similar. So it was like something like the Madams or something like. Oh, what was it?
I've got no idea what you're on about, but I'll just say that this film is based on the television series Widows from the 80s. Director Steve McQueen began thinking about adapting this 6-part crime drama into a film in 2012 while he was shooting 12 Years a Slave. So there you go. And when it said it was based on widows at the end, I just figured it was a book, you know, as it usually is. But alas, it's a TV show. There you go. And I think I also read that's the reason Zimmer wanted to do the score, because he as a music assistant worked on the original show. So I think that's why he was interested in doing it, which makes sense.
Yeah, I was talking about this thing called Bella Mafia, which is it's about like following the brutal murder of her husband. This woman reunites with her mother-in-law and sister-in-law in a quest for vengeance. So I was like, it kind of sounds similar, like you could have adapted it from the same thing. So that's what I thought you might have been talking about.
Gotcha. Okay. I thought you were talking about, I've already forgotten her name, but like the author of Gone Girl and Sharp Objects
Gillian Flynn
worked on this script. So I thought that's what you were going to say. Yeah. Anyhow, I think I'm pretty good if you guys are. I don't know if much is going to bring us together at this point, other than the fact that our score is probably all going to be the same. At this, I don't know.
Well, I just want to ask Jaden what he means by how you were kind of annoyed with like how sequential it was, like this, then this, then this.
I wasn't annoyed by it. I just think it was just so sequential that it kind of lost my interest. I don't know, which is a bit of an odd thing, but like it was like it just made me like the fact like it progressed so simply that I felt like it didn't need my full attention, and like my attention only kind of went like it's I mean like it's probably not the best thing to say when the film's called Widows, but like I think the best scenes were when they weren't there. Like I think the most interesting stuff was when it hopped away into Brian Tyree Henry and Farrell, because like that's when you kind of that's when it kind of demands you to come back in a little bit, and then the rest of it is so procedural that I'm like, yeah. And like once again, like procedural and straightforward isn't a bad thing. It's just that it didn't demand my full attention.
Surely that scene with the preacher demanded your full attention because he was great.
Yeah, but again, they weren't there, so.
Yeah, I know. That's I'm adding to your point actually. Yeah, Fitzy's thinking of so many like scummy things he can say. Like, mate, you like Fast and Furious. How can you?
No, like I think I said that anyway earlier, that like the Brian Tyree Henry side is like the most interesting part, and the political side in general is more interesting.
Very good. Yeah, even that preacher he had shady vibes then, you know? He was kind of just another political kind of guy.
Because he didn't choose a side, and then at the end he's like, you know, he did a speech after his father died for the winner.
That's right.
For Mulligan, so yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting for sure. All right, let's get to our final verdicts for Widows. Jaden.
I give it a 7 out of 10. Like I like the film quite a bit, and like I did like I really liked it, but it's just that, you know, it's one of those things where it's a rare instance where I feel like I need to come from a more negative side of it, given like your guys' praising of it. But it's kind of one of those situations where like I have to voice my criticisms and I have to voice my positives, just because I felt like they, like, you know, you guys would cover my positives and then I'd have to get my side out, you know. So yeah. 7 out of 10.
Gotcha. I'll also give it a 7. I think a lot of my arguments around the pacing and some of the story not hitting as hard as I think it should have, reasons it's not an 8 for me. Like I think a lot of it is an 8. So I hope that makes sense. Fitzy.
Dude, I'll also give it a 7. Yeah. I mean,
you are dropping out a point then.
Yeah, I'm dropping it a point. Yeah.
Okay.
That's so funny, man.
Yeah.
Does that have to do with like the rewatchability factor, or is that just because you took less from it this time?
Yeah, I think I was less like enamored overall. I think like the clever elements definitely won me over the first time, but I think this time I was more just like here for the ride, I guess. Yeah. Like I definitely agree that there needs to be something extra. I just don't know exactly what it is. I don't think it's in Liam Neeson. I think Liam Neeson's thing is perfect, but I think it's something else that needs to be there, I guess. Yeah.
Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, we need another Irish guy,
Yeah. Very good. That's hilarious. Let's get into our highlights of the week. Fitzy, what have you been watching?
Yeah, I watched This Closeness, which was a 2023 indie film, basically filmed in like a single apartment. Um, it's like so like basically this couple moves into this Airbnb and there's this like weird guy who's like their host, basically. And it's just a very awkward, extremely cringe-inducing
Oh God.
film. Like very hard to watch at some points. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's very strong for that, and just for the central kind of relationship, which is very like rocky, I guess. And I think like the weekend kind of reveals the weaknesses of the relationship, and in the context of like this guy, the host as well. The cracks, you kind of see the cracks like splitting open. So it's a very successful, little project, I guess. Very like mumblecore, just because it's like has a few of those conventions, and it's just like totally like no budget, So um, yeah, it was really great.
Cool. I get, yeah. When you say that, when you sell it on the cringe, it's like that's hard because it's like that means I trust that it's really engaging, but
But like,
do I want to
yeah,
feel that all the time?
it's cringe in just in like everyday life ways, though. Like the boyfriend and the host trying to interact with each other.
Oh God.
That was incredibly hard to watch, especially because it's like it's not doing anything extra that's like making it cringe. It's just like
Right.
two people who
Oh,
don't
no.
just two people who don't like vibe at all,
That's
And-
even worse.
Exactly. It's harder to watch because it's just like so real, So
Like man live.
yeah, exactly.
Especially today. Yeah.
Whenever Zach leaves,
All right. Very good. I wrapped up a couple shows this week, but when I was scoping out Serialized, Jane, have you also seen the show called Unbelievable?
Oh, the Caitlin Dever one.
Yeah. Or is that on
Yeah,
your
yeah.
watch list?
No,
Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah.
Oh, great. I don't know. I just sort of like was surprised when you'd seen it. What did you think of it? How long ago did you watch it?
Back when it came out.
Like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh wow, Jesus
Not
Christ.
5.
Okay.
Is it 5? Fuck. Jeez.
2019.
Yeah. Maybe 2020 then. Maybe it was during lockdown and shit.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Mm.
Anyways, I wrapped that up and I was just kind of like surprised to see you'd seen it. So that was cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a 7 for me. Dude, oh my God, I feel so bad. I already forgot her name. Yeah, not the other main detective, not Toni Collette, and obviously not Caitlin Dever because that's kind of a parallel story arc. The other main detective lady.
That was way too long ago for me to.
Do you know who I'm talking about though?
I didn't even remember Toni Collette was in there. I only remember David.
Oh shit! Oh, God. I am stretching trying to ask for your opinion on it. Then hang on, I have to get this right. I can't not shout her out here.
Like I remember the story, I remember the conclusion and all that shit, but like I don't really remember actors.
Merritt Weaver or Weaver? Do you guys know her from anything else? Does that ring a bell? Anyway, sorry, I just had to shout her out because her performance was phenomenal. I thought she was the standout by far. Like Caitlin Dever's great. You guys know I like Caitlin Dever, of course. Toni Collette's Toni Collette. Can't go wrong. But I thought she was the standout of the show. I thought she was fantastic. Just shout out to her. So yeah, it was an interesting show. I dug it. The whole like catching the criminal aspect, like catching the rapist aspect. So the show's about a serial rapist and detectives trying to catch him. And then with that, that part of it's pretty straightforward. It's well done. You get your procedural sort of crime, investigation elements sort of in there that you're sort of looking for. So that was all well done. But then the parallel story is that then like Caitlin Dever was a victim of this guy who no one knows she was a victim of him because all the other victims are known and she's never come forward because of all this other, it's sort of a whole thing. But anyway, without going into it too much. So they sort of go with both stories simultaneously, and the way they do that and they link at the end is well done. That's sort of the most unique aspect of the show, I guess. The way they handle that, and I thought that was cool, and it sort of allows the show to really spend some time, which is I think ultimately what the show is most about or does most differently, is that it's really about victims' perspectives and highlighting that and victims' experience of sexual assault and that kind of thing. So I thought it handled that very nicely. And then as a detective show, it was still did its job as well. So I liked it. It was good. I would recommend it. Yeah. Jaden, what have you been watching?
Not much really. Only more My Hero Academia, but that's.
Oh yeah, is that going to be like a staple now for the next for the
until I finish
future?
it? Yeah, because I think that's like the only thing I'm really going to be watching.
Yeah.
Still good, still very good. I watched the movie, the first movie that it was solid. I don't know, like it's just I can't believe I like it this much. There's still it's like my complaints are still the same, but like it's just the issues that kind of come with the anime of the genre. I can't remember what it's called, but like it's the anime for like it's like the Teen Boy anime. Like so, like your One Piece and your Dragon Balls and all that shit. Like they all have like the same thing where like they just kind of stretch things out and they spend their time. Not that this is anywhere near as egregious as that shit. But it still takes its time moving like plot points forward. But it's still great.
Cool. Do you see? There's no glimpse on the horizon of burning out on it. Yes.
No.
Got it. You don't foresee that.
No. I'm halfway through season 3, I think, and I've not felt that at all. So
yeah, cool. Yeah. Gotcha.
I burned through 3 seasons in a week, 2.5 seasons in a week. So I mean,
it's a good sign.
I think it's good.
Yeah, for sure. Now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, who is your favourite British director? Dr. Luke said, Guy Ritchie. Can't go wrong. We'll get into I'm sure we'll start breaking down a lot of them here in a minute. You can't go wrong with that. Andy Lau said, how did I know he was going to say this? Andy Lau says Nicholas Roeg for many reasons. Despite only having seen 3 of his films, just listen to the Walkabout episode. Don't listen to the pun about his son, though, please. Skip that. Shout out to Nick Park for all of his Wallace and Gromit short films. I had Jonathan Glazer in mind beforehand, but I'm just going to prioritize cinema effect over my personal beliefs. Anyone who picks an overrated one like Emerald Fennel is a basic cunt. Wow. That's strong. That's really strong. Emerald Fennel's great. Andy, stop it. It's really rude. And also, if you wanted to pick Jonathan Glazer, pick Jonathan Glazer, Like, I appreciate you trying to keep the continuity of the show, but, it's fine. Anyway, thank you. Good answers. Leanne said, good question. It's difficult to choose one. My favourite British director would probably be Danny Boyle. His best movie to date is Slumdog Millionaire, which we did on the show, by the way. However, he has a string of other successful films. But you can't talk about great British directors without mentioning Ridley Scott. His many success stories have included Alien, Blade Runner, Gladiator, Black Hawk Down, and American Gangster. Shout out to Black Hawk Down for Jaden. Historically, Alfred Hitchcock is widely acknowledged for his brilliance as an important British director. His classic cinematic masterpieces have included North by Northwest, Psycho, The Birds, and Dial M for Murder. So, 4 excellent British directors get a mention here, spanning a few years of movie making. Never a short answer from Leanne, but I hope it contributes to the robust discussion. Keep up the great work, Cinema Effect team. Thank you, Leanne. That's very good. There's a lot of British directors out there, Jaden. You're going to say Edgar Wright, aren't you? Oh, you're muted, bro. Sorry.
Oh no.
He's one of the guys I've got open.
Okay.
I also have Mendes open. I've got Martin McDonagh open, who's Irish British.
No.
Hey, his letterbox says British Irish. I want to count him.
Okay, all right.
Guy Ritchie, it's all the guys that have been said pretty much. Really, like they're straight up there.
No one said Edgar Wright.
I will give a shout out to one of your guys, Zach. But I haven't seen enough of his films. But what I have seen is fantastic, which is Joe Wright.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah.
So I will say that as well. But yeah, I guess in terms of like my what's been mentioned so far, and then I guess my original one is Edgar Wright. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, gotcha. But so okay, the original one is Edgar Wright. Could you choose one though, definitively? Like if if what? No. But like you hear about one of them's got a new movie coming out. You don't know what it is. Which one are you just inherently the most excited about to see?
Paul Anderson.
See, there's another one to throw in there. Yeah, great.
No, because like genuinely, like I've missed quite a few Guy Ritchie films in the theaters now, and I missed Last Night in Soho in theaters. I'm like,
okay,
like so, like I do just like I missed McDonough's last film in theater. Like it's just in terms of what I would want to go see right now, it'd be the new Paul Anderson film, Lost Lands, coming out soon. So
that's right. Yeah. And Widows was had a very generic plot and all that.
Well, I mean, like McQueen, like obviously, but I just thought we spent the episode talking about him. So like,
no, I get you. Okay, that's cool. For me, so when you bring up Joe Wright's a complicated one, unfortunately. Can I definitively say that Joe Wright is my favourite British director? Well, he's directed one of my favourite films and one of the worst films I've seen at the same time. That's a pretty tough spot to be in.
That's range.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough spot. I mean, look, I don't. That honestly holds me back from answering him. So, but huge shout out to him though. I feel like him directing one of my favorite films carries a lot of weight. But I need a wider range. I mean, I do love Pride and Prejudice as well. Shit. Huge shout out to him. I'll just say that. I think, for me, it's actually between Steve McQueen and Ridley Scott. For me. Those are the two that I think overall, like you talk about that question I posed to you of they've got a new film coming out, you want to check it out. It's those two guys. I haven't missed a Ridley film in theaters in a minute. I don't know what it is about him. Like it's not even like I love all of his films or anything. But I think I'm just always I don't know. Something about his films are always like worth seeing to me. They just have that quality about them. Like I know, I think Napoleon, like people don't like it these days. I don't know, but like to me, I saw that in the cinema and don't regret it at all.
Wacky.
Bit wacky, wacky Phoenix. Yeah, I don't know. Every time there's a Ridley film coming out, I need to see it in the cinema, and we'll be doing that in the next few weeks as well. So I'm excited about that. And McQueen, as I said at the start, McQueen's a master in my opinion. I've never seen anything of his that isn't like exceptionally made anyway. So, he's got a new film coming out in a few weeks. I didn't realize, and I've added that to my watch list right away as soon as I realized it this morning. Fitzy. There's a lot of names floating around here.
I mean, I'll shout out McQueen too, just because like I think I did say for the favorite director episode, McQueen was my answer back then. But wait, what was Andy's problem with Glazer? Because
he was just saying like he would have actually answered Glazer, but like he wanted to answer something that was you had some cinema effect continuity because we haven't done a Glazer film.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll say Glazer for
nice
for Andy's sake. Like I haven't seen Zone of Interest, but like the other three Glazers are like really excellent. Under the Skin, Sexy Beast, Birth is great. He's just really interesting. And then I mean I'll say Mike Leigh because he's like quintessential like British director, I guess. More like what is it, like kitchen sink social commentary type shit. But like it's mainly for Naked. Naked is excellent. And Another Year, All or Nothing. Those are great films too.
Those are good shouts. There's so many. God, it's
Anyone?
hard. No, dude, I've actually got a Google list here, and I don't think there's one more. Oh no, there's one lady. Is she the only lady though? Hang on. Yeah, she's the only woman on this like list. There's like literally 50 people on this list, and it's Andrea Arnold. Anyone know who she is?
I feel like I've heard it before.
Wait, did she do the film Andy just watched?
Oh, yeah, she did Fish Tank.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go. She's the only one, apparently.
That's kind of terrible. In the Mike Leigh tradition, like, kitchen sink type shit. Oh, American Honey. I love American Honey. That's a great film. Yeah. Andrea Arnold is actually my favorite female British director, as it happens.
Exactly. Oh, dude, Paul Greengrass. Shit. I didn't see him.
I saw that. Yeah.
Shit. Damn, that's good.
He
too.
doesn't strike me as British though, because he's on the
The Bonds aren't very British. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Too yank.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's totally true. Yeah,
And
anyone who
freaking
drinks
United,
Ball,
United 91, United 93.
93.
yeah. You think a British person is incapable of that? Yeah. Cool. All right. Very, very good. As always, we'd love you to submit your questions, responses, reviews, whatever, for next week's episode in the YouTube or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server. This week, the specific question we'll be asking you is, what is the best Hollywood production company?
Does that,
Let's
what does that have to be Hollywood? What about like Screen Victoria? It's like
No. Screen Victoria is like an arm of the government. So
yeah,
I don't know if I'd count that.
yeah, they got some bangers though.
Yeah. No, they do. Yeah. I don't know. I'll put it this way. What is the best production company Bollywood band? How about that?
As if anyone's got a Bollywood answer, like in our audience.
I know, but I just feel like I need to make a statement about it. You know, even though no one's going to answer it, I just need it very clear that we don't like Bollywood here.
Hey, speak for yourself, bro.
Triple R's great.
Yeah, the hour that was
Example
now
that you
Triple
like.
R's. Excellent.
Bahubali. Come on, man.
Anyway, that's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Fitzy, what are we doing next week?
Love Lies Bleeding, which is on Prime Video. Yeah. It's we're going back to Kristen Stewart. So yeah. Just when we thought we were out, she pulls us back. She
pulled me back in.
Well, this will be the great kind of test because we've done her like in her like teens. We've done her young with
Panic Room.
True.
Panic
All this
Room.
year too. Yeah.
And now we'll kind of see her current acting. So
That's right.
Mm,
That's totally true.
full
We're going to get the
spectrum,
full range.
yeah.
As long as we don't review that Diana movie, that's fine.
Spencer. Yeah.
All right. Very good. I appreciate Liam and Jaden for joining me as always. Have a great rest of your week, everyone, and goodbye.